Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I know it's been a while, but with the absence of Wayne, I thought it would be good to keep us all connected in the different ways that we seem to do this. So, as many of you know, Wayne has lost his father, so he is attending his family obligations and dealing with all of that. So, our deepest condolences to you, Wayne. Know that our hearts are with you and we send you support and comfort and love. And know it's all going to be okay. So, with that, just send some love to Wayne because we all know that we need that when we lose people. It's a tough time. So, just send joy because the opposite of hurt is in and pain is joy. So send joy. Joy. It's the perfect remedy for anything that's upside down in our world. Our hardest thing is to shift the frequency of what we're experiencing. So if we can move to the opposite spectrum, it cancels out the charge. So send joy when people are in pain because joy can fix a lot of things. So much joy and favor to you, Wayne, always and forever in abundance. So, with that, I thought I would talk a little bit about the 5 different ways. There's so many ways, but it seems to me I've noticed this awakening process that goes for most of us who are entering fifth dimensional consciousness and above. And for a lot of people who are just waking up, a lot of this stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. So I thought I would give us a pretty simple breakdown of the pretty significant steps that I've seen most of the people who are waking up go through. And it's brilliant for us to remember these things too, because it helps us to go deeper into our processes to figure out more about our own self, our own truth, our own directions, and what our soul is trying to learn and accomplish in this realm. So I was looking at the first step that seems to be apparent for most people is they start to notice the coincidences in their life. They start to see how if they really start thinking about something, how certain things start to just show up in the reality. They start to notice the synchronicities and the power of thought and the power of consciousness. So this is the first thing that most people click onto. They start to notice these synchronicities and these coincidences, and the messages just start coming in from all these different directions. And that is what gives you pause to say, there's more here than I was currently aware of. This brings you into the second level, which is typically when you start to question the reality a little bit. And you're like, okay, what's up with history? What's up with the Bible? What's up with this? And you start to look at all these different things. And then that makes you start to question your reality even further. And then as you go deeper, some of you go into words and the power of them and how they form everything that we are. And through the languages from the ancient to the current, you start to see the power of the words, the power of what is within a word and how words have been changed. Then you start to understand that words are spells, and spells are powerful. So then you start to take a little bit of responsibility of understanding that what you think and speak is manifesting in the world. And this leads to the third level of awareness, which is an acknowledgement of the power of energy, vibration, sound, the spoken word. Abracadabra. I speak, therefore I create. So, within the learning of energy, you start to learn the law of attraction, that thoughts equal reality. You learn of the power of the energy bodies, the aura, those 7 layers of light that wrap around your physical being. You also start to see how everything is made of energy, and it is formed into matter. Matter is a pattern. Matter is a picture, an image, a template for which it can hold its form. Also, then you start to see and feel energy in all the things around you. You can start to feel energy coming from inanimate objects like wood, trees, rocks, crystals, plants, everything around you. Everything. You can start to see vibration, start to feel the vibration. So as you start to get familiar with energy in all of its different aspects, then you move into a deeper level of awareness, which is regarding more about you. And this is where you start to deal with your ego and the ergos and the logos and the I. This is integral to going to the higher realms. You understand that ego identification is the struggle for power and energy. This is what is creating violence and all the psychological problems and all of the things that are of negative polarized position in our world. This need to control is the nemesis of humanity. This has allowed for vampiric energy, looshing of humans and of their soul essence. These vampiric energies that are just the ego trying to preserve its own self can suck you dry until you feel like you were almost dead. This is when you start to understand how energy of the people around you affect you. Are they stealing your energy and sucking it dry? Or are they filling you, and are you feeding off of them? This is when you start to really understand the dynamics of how energy feels and moves and hits you and works through you. Once we begin to understand that we're stealing and receiving and harming each other for control of energy, and the primary tool used to steal energy from another person is dominance or fear. So, when we can see this power struggle, you actually have the power not to play. You can see it and you can stop the interaction because you know how to control your energy field. Once you start to understand how energy is operating, you now can understand how to operate within it. So, when this happens, we would begin to break free from competition, and then we would move into the true power, which is cooperation. Because as a part or a piece of creation, creation is stronger when we come together. So the more of us that come together, the stronger that creation manifestation power is. So cooperation. This brings ultimately for humanity, whether they know it or not, the absolute most fulfillment and joy that you could experience on this planet. This is the thing that we have forgotten. We've been taught to compete. We've been taught that we are separate. We have taught that we have races. We have been taught these things that are simply untrue. We are all energy existing in a character that is created out of matter, but it is not real. It's temporary. It's a form. It is an image that you have manifested to experience this realm, this reality, this earthly experience. This part is temporary, but what is within you is eternal, and it is immortal, and it is meta. This is the spark, the key they so desperately need to harness. This is what I see is being shut off through much of humanity, the meta capabilities that were given by the Creator through the trees. So, when we start to understand the robbing and the harnessing and the stealing of energy, not only from our controllers, but from each other, we've been doing this unconsciously for thousands of years. When we break free from all of these things, we really start to understand the power of unity and cooperation. You learn to connect to your own higher self. You learn to create all the energy that you need from your own being. You become the tree. You reconnect to the tree, which reconnects you to your meta capabilities. The meta capabilities within thee are truly connected to the antennas upon this earth that are connected to the stars. So the meta, it literally goes through the organic structures. If you are cut off from the organic connections, you are cut off from the meta capabilities that are organically, innately built within you. So be careful with giving away your roots. Be careful with altering your seed. Be careful with altering your tree. Because if you disconnect from your tree, you may not be able to establish your connection to it again. So, know thyself and know thy spark. Go within and stop seeking outside of your own power. Remember, you won. So, that level would be the fourth. It's the foundation of becoming. So after you go through the fourth stages of understanding energies and the control and the competition for it, and you start to understand the power of unity and the power of what is already organically within you, and that you are multidimensional, and that you are more than the body that you are existing in currently at this point in time. The fifth position is when you really start to heal and you start to clear all the past and all the shadow work that you need to do and discover. This is part of looking at the traumas that you may have experienced through past incarnations. These traumas can fractal the soul. And trauma is the number one tool used to fractal the soul. And one of the most harmful things that you can do to a human soul is put it in solitary confinement. And this has been done over this past year to humanity. So humanity is dealing with a serious trauma right now, a very deep trauma. Isolation is one of the most detrimental things you can do to a human. So most humans would rather work to death than to be isolated. They would choose 100 different ways to be put to death rather than to be stuck in isolation. So this is just common knowledge through psychological studies. This is very well known. And this is literally what has been done over the past year. So we have a lot of healing that needs to be done. The children are suffering to a very high, extreme position I've never seen before. And this is causing us an extreme disconnection. And this disconnection can be detrimental for not only them, but for us, because we are one. Whatever they're feeling, we're feeling. You may not have conscious awareness of it, but your cells know. Your meta part of you knows. Your soul knows. So your conscious mind might not have an awareness of it, but all the other layers of you, boy, have they been put on alert, and they are aware. So, connecting to you, doing your shadow work, collecting your soul trauma fragments and healing them and bringing them back within your own self. Connecting once again to your inner child, and then embracing the power of your higher self. Because the I that you are in this reality is a fractal of the I am that you truly are. The source, consciousness, Christ, God, universal creator, whatever you want to call it, it is all but the same thing. When you get to this position and you start to deep dive into the shadow and deep dive into the collective trauma that we are now processing on the planet, you can heal it. Unity of God as one body, and this is the sixth. This is when you've completed the 5 levels. This is when now you are going into a new dimension. This is when you get to the 6th. Unity of God as one. Body, mind, but still able to hold individual identity as oneness. One body, many souls. One spirit, many souls. Knowing and reading energy. Knowing how to control and stay in your own power. No longer needing or feeding off of others' energy for your own benefit or to calm your own fear. This is when the heart chakra activation takes place. This is where you understand fully the power of unity as well as the power of your separate individualized self. This is where you understand the power of cooperation, and it eliminates competition. Through empathy and compassion, through all of these ways, the gifts will come. Together, energetically, this will activate many talents and gifts that have been sleeping or lying dormant within yourself. Because as we activate one at a time, we are activating parts of yourself that you were not even aware of. Because a part of me exists within a part of you, and a part of you exists within a part of me. So, when we actually start to really become aware of each other, we become more telepathic. We become more compassionate. We become the healers that we already are. We reactivate and reawaken all of our extrasensory abilities and capabilities, and through that, they will begin to manifest and express. These things that I do, ye shall do and greater. Jesus. R. Wayne Steiger. Only God can understand God. Touché. So, when you understand that you are God, this is the only way that you can truly begin to know God. When you get to this awareness, this is when you have begun to enter the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th gates. These are levels of multidimensional thinking. This is when you have chosen to place the crown of thorns upon your head, reconnecting you once again to God, or the 12 cranial nerves that will awaken you to the 13th power, the eye, or the inner gate, the pineal gland. The mystery of the stone that the builders rejected was love and wisdom. And she is feminine. So the missing capstone is missing love. It's missing the guidance and the power of our mother. This is the reason that we are born now. We were born to change the pyramid code to love. love, truth, wisdom. That's the true power. That's the power that we want. It's ruled by love. So that is what I saw. That was my vision of the levels that we are going through and the ones yet many of us are trying to obtain. But this is the goal. The goal is to unify through compassion and love. That's why they say love is the key. It is truly the key. It truly is. Because if you can't get to the part of yourself that can recognize I am you and you are me, that's the key that opens the gates to the higher dimensions within your consciousness. So remember, within your beautiful individualized expression of God as yourself, the fullness of God is within you, connected to your brothers and sisters. And that's of every color, every continent, and every shade. So connect to each other. Connect to the power of that of which you are. And remember the organic codes that you currently hold. There's nothing else like them in the universe. I would guard them with your life. So much love to you, my brothers and sisters. Soul Tribe, you're the best. I love you so much. Hopefully I'll get to do a few more videos very soon. It's been very busy, and I do stay busy on Wayne and Andromeda 7 and Milky Way Soul Tribe. So Soul Tribe, we're growing and thriving and learning, and now it's time to really embrace the power of we, so we can reconnect to our organic roots through the tree of life and really embrace it and be the seeds of the future. Because the seeds of the future, right now, they're trying to remove a lot of the seed and replace it with new seed. And the new seed is called GMO seeds. So this is going all the way through the entire globe, all the way to the human form. So be careful. Know what you have inside of you is unreplicable, and it is completely unique, and there's nothing like it. So enjoy the ride of what you are and embrace the fullness of what you are, because it truly is beyond our comprehension, and we will never fully understand God, because God can only understand God. Our Wayne Steiger. I love you, Wayne, and I'll see you real soon, Soul Tribe. Much love from my heart to yours. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.